at a time like this, where we need to focus on adolescents, teenagers, young people coming up, helping, being involved in what they're doing, having an understanding about what they want, making them take part in things, feeling inclusive, that they're actually producing something that will inspire, that you can take away, that you can apply to everything else you're doing. You know, that is part of what I want to do. So whether I'm using my art or I'm using other forms of workshops, such as looking at history, looking at Black history, looking at world history, looking at literacy, looking at helping young people to reach their goals. That is all part of what inspired me to bring young people to this project.
I am a great believer on the impacts of slavery on people today, and also in terms of where our young people are at, where they get their inspiration from, where they get their sense of pride from. So I was able to go out and choose some young people to come on this project to actually help them find their creative selves and get a better understanding of slavery and the impacts of slavery, and also for them to think about what slavery means to them, if anything, and if they can see anything that kind of coincides with where they're at today.
To be honest, yeah, I don't usually do slavery stuff, like talking about it with other people, unless if it's something like this, then yeah, I will get involved and do it. Even in school, I didn't really do Black history stuff. They used to tell me to go to it, but I don't, because I don't know, just that there's too much pain to it, and that's why I don't really like talking about it or doing it. And obviously after this, to be honest, I wouldn't really go up to people and try to talk about it, but I don't know.
I think the project is really good. It will get you to learn about your background and stuff, where you come from. Obviously, I do know about my history, about Black history and stuff, but I never get to learn that in school and thing. So I think it's good that this project, they should keep doing this type of project more for Black people, so they will know where they originally come from and stuff, you know, because most people don't know really, as Black people, they don't really know where they come from and stuff, innit?
To be honest with you, what I'd say I've learned is a lot to do with a lot more of the Black history. Because like, there's a few things that you wouldn't normally get to hear as when you're in school. When you're in school, they don't really try and touch up on things. But today I felt a bit more, I got to understand a bit more, in the sense of there's always still a lot more to learn. With stuff like slavery, it's a serious topic. A lot of people don't really want to actually hear things. So even if, for example, if I was to tell someone, oh, blah, 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 this happens, they'll be interested to a certain degree. When you come into a museum or something where you actually see the documentations, you can analyze the data yourself and grasp it like a sponge, other than hearing word of mouth. There's too much word of mouth going on nowadays. No one really wants to actually learn and do a bit of the hard grafting.
On their journey from Africa, taken to lands that were unknown, Haiti, Cuba and Jamaica, hear how my people shriek and moan.
I don't know much about my history. Everything I've been told sound like a mystery. Why not tell the whole truth about slavery? How it ended by the slave resisting and bravery. Mary Prince, Ignatius, Sancho, Phyllis Wheatley, and Equiano. Tell us more about where we originated. Then all of that Europe stopped the church to propagate.
My role in this project is to facilitate the writing and recording of a song written by all the participants about journeys and kinship. So we have had a couple of sessions where we've sat and tossed around lyrics based on the theme we're working on, and a couple of the participants have come up with ideas for a backtrack. Everybody's contributed in some way, either to the writing of the lyrics. As far as I can remember, everybody sang on the choruses, or most people have. So I think there's a lot of input from everybody into trying to make this happen, and I hope it will reflect the feelings of the people who made the project, about how they feel about slavery and its effects and the legacy that's been left.
Would you like to do it that way? What I'm saying is we all sing the same line once, and then we all sing the harmony line together. So no one has to be put off by somebody singing. That means we all sing the same tune, and then we all sing the second tune. Should we try that? All right, can we get up, please? Everybody come. Come everybody up here, please, to the mics. Everybody up to the mics.
On their journey from Africa, taken to lands that were unknown, Haiti, Cuba, and Jamaica. Hear how my people shriek and moan.
Well, my involvement, I took role practically in everything, because obviously it was a group thing, a teamwork. But I did do mostly music. I did a lot of getting my face plastered and painting them. You know, trying to get all the details of my face was quite impressive when it was taken off, and also it felt different. It felt like someone was taking my face off my head. So that was quite an experience to have. I've learned quite a lot, as in with slavery, there's not a lot of proper teaching in schools, even from when I was in school, and I'm not sure about now, and I can obviously tell that there's no difference, it's still the same. What I've learned a lot of work and a lot of achievements that these Africans did do, and we have to pay a lot of respect for that, because there's a lot of unknown stuff that we don't know that I know now. There is still racism everywhere, so if there's racism still going on now, then there's obviously slaves still going on now. All I can say is that you just gotta be aware of everything got involved around you. Don't believe a certain amount of things that people say. You have to do proper research on. If you want to get to know something, or if you want to know something, do proper research and talk to the right people.
On their journey from Africa, taken to lands that were unknown, Haiti, Cuba, and Jamaica. Hear how my people shriek and moan.
Benefits for the young people is, one, for them to identify with the society that they're living in today. The fact that young people can go out on the streets and kill each other without the blink of an eye, the fact that they see no futures for themselves, the fact that they don't know who they are or where they come from, the fact that if they were born here, they have no association with anything other than England, and our roots and our histories lie much further afield. The fact that a lot of them have got a sense of not belonging and not understanding why they don't belong, of why the system does not seem to work for them, and it's because, one, they haven't got any knowledge of the system, but two, the system in which they are being taught doesn't actually teach them about themselves from a real perspective. And if they can get an understanding of black people, of slavery, of where we come from, of our cultural heritage, of the purpose that we can have, and the responsibility that we have to educate not just ourselves, but to educate our children. And if our children aren't educated, then how are they going to go forward and educate their own children?
I kind of knew some stuff about slavery and like the process of it when it was abolished and all of that from when I was in secondary school, and just through English and other subjects that kind of talk about the same thing. But from here, there's just like things that have, like points that have caught my attention. I've kind of just labelled myself as British in everything that I do, like the way that I am, the way that I think, and it's just, I'd like to find out more about my cultures, like even just what happened when they became independent, and yeah, and just kind of portray myself in a way that would not fit stereotypes of a black teen or of a black teen living in northwest London.
I guess the main thing I learned was that even though slavery might have occurred hundreds of years ago, it still has after effects today. Yeah, I think there is slavery. That's kind of what my mask is about. It's about how humans are slaves to their biological impulses, and like so much can be determined by your genetics and biochemistry. So that, yeah.
The mask really represents the person's like expression in it on life. I know it's just a few bits of paint, but just certain colours, the way you paint, it gives you a whole feel, what you want the picture to show. Like for me, I put tears down just to show, it puts my whole reflection on life.
My mask has like a strand of DNA as a centerpiece, with two bodies spiked by it. That was basically to symbolize how it's in our nature to kill, like the darker side of our nature. And the rest of it was about, as I said, how we're slaves to our impulse. So instead of biological cells, I had actual cells, prison cells with people inside them.
On their journey from Africa, taken to lands that were unknown, Haiti, Cuba, and Jamaica. Hear how my people shriek and moan.
I don't know much about my history. Everything I've been told sound like a mystery. Why not tell the whole truth about slavery? How it ended by the slave resisting and bravery. Mary Prince, Ignatius, Sancho, Phyllis Wheatley, and Equiano. Tell us more about where we originated. Then all of that Europe stopped the church to propagate.
Never forget. We came so far.
Honestly, I know we did this. Obviously, I haven't seen the big outcome. Like, let's just say if we, example, send it out to BBC, you know, how other people would look at it. Obviously, I haven't seen that reaction yet. But like so far, I would say, I mean, yeah, it's getting it out a little bit, you know, like getting with my people, such as the black people and other people, obviously other different cultures, and doing this project, the Max, the music. Yeah, well, it's been wonderful, you know. The project was good, man, seriously. It's really interesting, you know. It got me, I gained experience from it, such as like making faces and stuff, you know. Max, you know. I never done that before, and I turned out to be good at it, you know, for some reason. And I would like to do that in the future, something like that. I don't know.
I would say more projects, trying to get more things coming our way. Like I'm showing the youth, a lot of the youth, that the youth need to come down and see this stuff. Because for me, I pay my dues. I always try and help out and support as much as I can. But I just feel I can only do so much. I mean, what I know, if I don't show the youth, it feels like I haven't really done anything then. Because you're only as good as the person you've taught. If you haven't taught anyone, then there's no foundation.
It's also, for me, about a sense of bringing young people together who don't have an opportunity to work in environments like this, to see that there is a whole life other than the streets that they come from, and to open up new avenues, as in the filmmaking, as in the music making, as in the arts and crafts, as in the exploration of themselves.
Young people in London have got a very wide, diverse heritage that they've brought to London through their families, and that is what I want to encapsulate in this project.
from negative to positive. Check.
On their journey from Africa, taken to lands that were unknown. Haiti, Cuba, and Jamaica. Hear how my people shriek and moan.
Today, black people still being denied. Some have even lost their pride. For 12 million people, slavery still existing. But if we switch roles, would it still be persistent? Being paid pennies for 18 hours a day. Child and sex trafficking, they cannot get away. The transatlantic slave trade was the worst of all. If we all unite, we shall not fall.
On their journey from Africa.